I'm Armando Cuellar Jr., President of the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees. This emergency meeting is being conducted pursuant to Governor Greg Abbott's suspension of certain open meeting law requirements to the extent necessary to allow for telephonic and video conference meetings in response to COVID-19. The board is meeting by the use of Google Meets and telephone transmission, which allows two-way communication for members of the public during public comments. A recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. The time now is 5:05, and I call this meeting to order. I will now begin the roll call for each board member. Signify your presence by saying here present when I call your name. Mr. Isidoro Nieto.
Present.
Mrs. Jackie Sustaita.
Present.
Coach Jesse Trevino.
Present.
Dr. Jaime Rodriguez.
Present.
Mr. Mark de los Santos.
Present.
And Mr. Andrew Gonzalez.
Present.
Let the record reflect that we have a quorum of board members in attendance. Item 3, public comments.
We have one.
We have one.
I just need about 2 minutes to connect them.
Okay?
He just wants to play. This camp today, he was excited. He got to see all his friends. Nervous at the same time that I really didn't understand
that this meeting had been posted.
stuff, and so excited. And so 6th grade, no.
You're connected.
Okay.
Okay, let me
It'll be fine.
identify yourself and give us your address.
Karina Black, 1201 Ambrosia Drive, Weslaco, Texas, 78596.
Thank you. I'm going to read something before we let you have the floor. Pursuant to the Texas Open Meeting Act, the Board of Trustees may not deliberate on any comment made by a member of the public on a subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of this meeting. As per the Texas Attorney General, the scope of board discussion for a subject not part of the meeting agenda is limited to only a proposal by a board member to place on by placing the subject on a future board agenda. Specific factual information or recitation of existing policy may be furnished in response to inquiries, but the board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the portion of the meeting designated for that purpose. All other times during a board meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board. Unless recognized by the presiding officer, no public comment presentation shall exceed 5 minutes. Any disruptive behavior by any speaker may result in the speaker's removal from participation in the meeting. Please be mindful of using names or personally identifiable information as there is no immunity from defamatory comments while participating in public comments. You have 5 minutes. At the 4-minute mark, Mr. Nieto will let you know you have a minute left. You now have the floor.
Can my husband have the floor?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes, we just had some concerns regarding like kids with asthma
that kind of stuff, how they're going to be expected to wear a mask all day in school. So that was one of our concerns, which we'd like to hear something, to address that situation. Also, another concern of ours is around the protocols for post-contact tracing and reporting out to parents. There's been quite a bit of stuff flying around, social media and stuff like that, are saying, schools will no longer do any contact tracing or reporting out. And I know the website and you guys' social media site have put out quite a bit of information, and a lot of that is good, but I haven't seen anything on your protocols for post-contact tracing or reporting to parents. I know personally I would like to know if my kid is, in a classroom where someone has, come down with COVID, and I'm sure other parents would like to know as well, So, those are just two of our concerns that we have. And that's all the time I need.
Okay, thank you. That concludes public comments. And we go to item 4. Discussion and possible action for the board to consider Hidalgo County mask mandate for all schools in the county. Dr. Valdez.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are presenting this afternoon the latest correspondence from Hidalgo County, and this is from the Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department, coming from Dr. Ivan Melendez. And everyone should have a copy before you of the order and for the facial coverings mandate that was released today. And so this correspondence we received this afternoon, and I'm going to read verbatim from the county. The correspondence is entitled Hidalgo County Local Health Authority Order for All Public School Systems Related to the Facial Coverings 21-001. Whereas pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 418.108, Hidalgo County Judge Richard Cortez issued a declaration of local disaster for public health emergency on March 17, 2020, due to the imminent threat arising from the coronavirus COVID-19. And whereas on March 22, 2020, the Commissioners Court of Hidalgo County issued an order of continuance of declaration of local disaster for public health emergency. And whereas pursuant to Chapter 121 of the Texas Health and Safety Code, the county has appointed Dr. Ivan Melendez as the Hidalgo County Local Health Authority, and pursuant to his appointment, he has the authority to administer state and local laws relating to public health within the jurisdiction of the County of Hidalgo, Texas. And whereas pursuant to the authority of Section 81.082A of the Texas Health and Safety Code and Title 25, Section 97.6H of the Texas Administrative Code, unless specifically preempted by the Texas Department of State Health Services, DSHS, the local health authority has supervisory authority and control over the administration of communicable disease control measures within its jurisdiction, to include public and non-parochial private school systems, when in his opinion control measures are necessary to protect the public health. And whereas the Hidalgo County Local Health Authority continues to evaluate the circumstances regarding the public health emergency related to COVID-19 and the ongoing high and substantial spread of the disease in the community, with a persistent number of active positive cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. And whereas the more highly contagious strains of the COVID-19 virus has led to a record increase, reaching the highest level of hospitalizations for school-aged children since the onset of the pandemic, including children younger than 12 years that are not able to receive vaccination and requiring facial covering is necessary to reduce the spread and transmission of COVID-19 among the unvaccinated and vaccinated. Now, therefore, effective immediately, the Hidalgo County Health Authority hereby imposes the following health and safety measures on all public and non-parochial private schools offering instruction to students in any and all grades, kindergarten through grade 12, as follows. 1. All public and non-parochial private school systems in the County of Hidalgo, Texas, offering in-class instruction and/or other indoor activities to students in grades kindergarten through grade 12 shall require universal indoor facial coverings for all students, visitors, faculty, and staff, regardless of vaccination status, in an effort to continue mitigation of the spread of COVID-19. 2. A public and/or non-parochial school system may not require the wearing of facial coverings inside all school buildings, provided, however, that A, the school's system's governing body, by majority vote, decides to opt out of this local health authority order. 3. It is further recommended that schools maintain at least 3 feet of physical distance between students within classrooms to reduce the spread and transmission of COVID-19. 4. The following persons are not required to wear facial coverings. A, any person younger than 2 years old. B, any person with a medical condition or disability that prevents wearing a face covering. C, any person while the person is consuming food or drink or is seated at a cafeteria or classroom to eat or drink. D, any person while the person is 1, exercising outdoors or engaging in physical activity outdoors, and 2, maintaining a safe distance from other people not in the same household. E, any person obtaining services that require temporary removal of the face covering for security, surveillance, screening, or a need for specific access to the face, but only to the extent necessary for the services obtained. And F, any person while the person is in a swimming pool or shower. 5, it is highly recommended and encouraged that facial coverings be required at all school-sponsored events and activities, including but not limited to clubs, sports, fairs, exhibitions, and academic or athletic competitions, as well as during transportation to and from schools. 6, each school must notify the Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department if any individual, student, teacher, or staff who has been on a school campus is test confirmed to have COVID-19 in accordance with applicable local, state, and federal laws, including confidentiality requirements. It is recommended that schools notify all teachers, staff, and families of all students in a school if a test-confirmed positive case is identified consistent with school notification requirements for other communicable disease. 7, it is recommended that if there has been an individual that is test-confirmed positive, schools shall close off any area that was heavily used by the individual until such time as those areas are cleaned and disinfected. Pursuant to Title 25, Section 97.6, the Hidalgo County Local Health Authority reserves the right to take such action and measures as may be necessary to conform with applicable public health and/or control measures upon the identification of a confirmed positive COVID-19 case or cases on any campus within a school system, including but not limited to imposing quarantine and closing a school campus. This order shall remain in full force and effect for a period no less than 9 weeks, unless it is extended, modified, rescinded, superseded, or amended by applicable law. The ongoing evaluation of circumstances regarding the public health emergency related to COVID-19 in the county of Hidalgo, Texas, or preempted by the Texas Department of State Health Services. If any subsection, sentence, clause, phrase, or word of this order, or any application of it to any school system or circumstance related to this order is held to be invalid or unconstitutional by a decision of a court or competent jurisdiction, then such decision will not affect the validity of the remaining portions or applications of this order. This order is issued under my authority as the local health authority for the county of Hidalgo, Texas, on this 13th day of August 2021, signed Ivan Melendez, MD, Local Health Authority, County of Hidalgo, Texas.
What,
It is the, we will discuss.
your recommendation on this?
The recommendation is to, administration recommends the adherence to the Hidalgo County Authority Order for all public school systems related to facial coverings 21-001. That is administration's recommendation, to adhere to the mandate.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by
Mr. Gonzalez.
Mr. Andrew Gonzalez and a second by Mrs. Eggy Sustaita to go with the recommendation from administration to follow the mask mandate by the county of Hidalgo County. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir. I have discussion. I just wanted to make sure that the community understands. We did have an option to opt out of this, but Weslaco, the community of Weslaco has made their voices loud and clear to us, and we are listening to all the concerns of the community. It's great timing with this order. We were going to discuss with each other what to do today, actually, about masks. Whether this order came out or not, we were going to discuss it, but this is God sent that the order came out, and we are, I don't want to speak for us, but I know that all of us want to keep our kids safe, and we are approving to opt into this. One question I do have, though, because this last academic year when we had graduations and we were out in the stadium, it was outdoors, obviously, but there was some confusion as to, do we wear masks, do we not wear masks, we're outside. Here on number 1, it says we'll require universal indoor facial coverings, but the number 5 says we're going to require them at all sports in athletic competition. So obviously football season is coming up. There's going to be people out in the stadium on the stands. So I just want us all to be on the same page if we will or will not be requiring people in the stands that are outdoors to be wearing masks. So
Right,
I
and
don't know
number-
what you guys think about
Number
that.
5 to say it's highly recommended and encouraged, so that would be a district decision. Obviously, for indoor, it will be mandated. So for outdoor activities, then that's something that we need to discuss. This just came
Okay.
in today, so we will get with our athletic director and respective administrative staff, so that way we can, once we're ready to make that call, that decision, then we'll vet it through you and then communicate that. Obviously, communication, right?
Okay.
Needs to be improved as far as what protocols we are following in the district. And we are working diligently right now as far as with our PR department, with our KWES staff to produce. Those should already be completed as far as I've already vetted those. Communication, pieces of literature that are going to be blasted in social media, that are going to be also sent in intra-district with our, via email to all staff. We want everybody to know. We'll be producing a video on COVID-19 protocols. I was waiting for this meeting. We were ready to shoot, but we were waiting for Hidalgo County and for the board and the district to take its necessary next steps on what we're going to do, especially with facial coverings. And so that's coming soon, the video, the communication pieces, so that way we're all on the same page. So we will include that language as far as outdoor activities to be clearly communicated throughout the community.
Okay.
So,
So I know like right now we have Meet the Wildcats out at the
yes,
stadium.
yes, I will be there,
So-
yeah,
Hopefully we're okay for now and then we'll
And then
decide later on.
we'll proceed,
Okay.
we'll discuss it, and that's our next step, to make the decision as a team of 8 on what we're gonna do with outdoor activities.
Correct.
Thank you so much for bringing that
Yes,
up.
ma'am. And then people, just to let the community know, with medical conditions, for example, asthma, I don't know if asthma will count or that's something that.
That
we'll
is a
guess-
medical condition.
A medical condition. To answer any community questions, they can look at this to see if they have any questions. Their questions may be answered on this order.
Yes, we will have staff closely analyze that, and yes, for example, an asthmatic, that asthma is a medical condition, so that's something we'll, according to this order, we would have to adhere to, that they may not, they're not required to wear facial coverings. Or if they choose, if a parent makes a decision, they can wear the mask and then take a break from, and so that can be a decision, an option as well for the child.
If we can just reach out to that parent that called in for the
Absolutely.
public comments, please.
I will, thank you,
And-
Mr. Gonzalez, I will.
Question, Dr. Valdez. Now that the county and of course ourselves are going to mandate masks, will we provide additional masks for each school just in case?
Yes, sir.
The students need them or the staff need them?
Absolutely, yes,
Okay.
Coach. Thank you for asking, but yes, we will supply masks, should the students need it.
Any,
I'd like to say, I wanted to thank the administration and for being proactive and taking so many different measures to make sure that our schools are safe from the minute that they get on the buses. I know a couple board meetings past that we just had. I think we're getting those installed already, infiltration systems within the buses. We have infiltration systems within each and every classroom. I know that there is a PPE gear available at every single campus, and I just want to say thank you all for being proactive and taking this next step and taking into account every single option that's on the table to keep our students, our staff, and people within the community as safe as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dos Santos, and I do want to reassure the community, parents, staff, and students that is number one. That is my highest priority right now, and as far as central office administration, the leadership here, that remains and will remain our number one priority, to make sure that our children, our staff, students, that we're all doing, we're being prudent and we're taking whatever measures we can to guarantee, although we can't, right? But we are doing whatever it is possible that we can as a school system to make sure that everyone's safe and that we're off to a strong start. And that's number one.
thank you, Dr. Valdez.
I wanted to thank your staff, doctor, for working on those social media posts about what are we going to, question answer type
Yes.
pictures that are out there. What will we do if we're exposed? What will you be notifying? Those are awesome visuals you guys put out there. So thank you so much for working on that. It's
We
great.
also worked on out of, I think, Mr. De La Rosa's office, the communication piece. Should parents be calling campuses, we all want to be sharing, articulating the same message, so that way it's accurate and consistent relaying of the information as far as COVID-19 protocols in the district. So we have a document that was sent to, for example, campus clerks, any employee who's taking calls from parents, so that way the schools are equipped to answer accordingly.
Dr. Valdez, and just to emphasize, we are going to go above what the state is requiring in regards to contact tracing. It's not going to be the same as last school year, but we are going to be doing some contact tracing, just to let parents know and staff know that is something the district is going to do.
Yes, sir, that is correct. We will be doing contact tracing. The scope will be limited compared to last year. Mr. De La Rosa is available to share with our audience and board and who's watching right now, so that way they can be reassured that we are doing some contact tracing?
Yes, Dr. Rodriguez, good afternoon. We will be doing contact tracing in the classroom. The only difference between last year and this year is that we will be notifying the parents of the children that were identified as known close contacts. As of now, the plan is to do that, but not to do an all call that was done last year, a call to the entire campus parents that, okay, there was a COVID vaccine. We're only notifying the parents who were identified as known close contact.
I do want to specify in number 6 in the order, the last sentence in number 6 says it is recommended that schools notify all teachers, staff, and families of all students in a school if a test confirmed positive case is identified.
That's
But
correct. But it's just a
That's what the
recommendation.
order, but it is recommended, but we're still going to adhere and implement the protocol that we have for contact tracing. So that way, the audience knows that the county's recommending that, but we have our own protocol that we're going to implement.
Sounds good.
Okay? Any further discussion? Okay, let's take it to a vote. Signify you approve by saying aye when I call your name. Mr. Isidro Nieto.
Aye.
Jackie Sustaito.
Aye.
Coach Jay Trevino.
Aye.
Dr. Jaime Rodriguez.
Aye.
Mr. Mark De Los Santos.
Aye.
And Mr. Andrew Gonzalez.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Before we adjourn, I normally give notice of this meeting having been posted for 72 hours for regular board meetings. However, being that this was an emergency meeting, we did follow the protocol for having this meeting as we did, and we did follow everything according to local policy. So that's just for the record, so everybody understands that we are in order with this meeting. Okay. With that being said, that takes us to item 5, adjournment.
So move.
Okay, the time now is 5:31, and this meeting is adjourned.